This is QuickCast episode 3. Here we go. Alright, I got my Diet Coke ready. So for this episode, let's kick things off maybe by talking about the Nintendo Mini NES. Is that what it's called?
I keep calling it Mini NES. I'm not sure what it's actually called.
I just looked it up. NES Classic Edition.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Whenever I've Googled it or looked it up in on a website, I just put Mini NES and it seems to do the trick.
Yeah, so Mini NES was canceled today by Nintendo because, let's just see, and Nintendo says here, it was canceled, interesting, for this year. And I guess they never said it was canceled. They said the last shipment for this year, in quotes,
It's
coming
not
soon.
even at half point of the year, so I'm pretty sure that means that it's done. They probably want to focus all their manufacturing on putting Switches out.
Yeah, and they did say the NES Classic Edition wasn't intended to be an ongoing long-term product. However, due to high demand, we did add extra shipments to our original plans. So it's kind of an interesting thing that they, first off, surprise, Nintendo releases something and there's not a lot of them. It's not the first time it's happened. But the fact that it was like a little test product, I wonder if it was... Part of me thinks they probably stopped doing it because of how many people like hacked it to make it into like a major emulator. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, there's a entire subreddit called let's see here. It became
Well, I remember hearing something about how it's emulating the games like really well. I didn't know if people were hacking it though.
yeah, there's an entire subreddit called NES Classic Mods, and they basically outline the entire cracking process. But in order to do it, you have to know how to like deal with like MD5 hash sums and Linux log files and
That's got to be for just people that normally do that kind of stuff and who are bored and just want to do it to see if they can do it, because there are just so many easier ways that you could emulate games
well, I
than
mean,
trying to do that.
they're apparently like able to hook it up to like computers and stuff, and they're able to turn the system into. I mean, people are playing like Mario Kart games on it, and I agree with you. I think it's not something that people are doing because they're like, oh wow, I can finally play the Mario Kart games I've wanted to play on my NES, which is a weird thing because they were never out on NES. But I think it's just the people that are like, wow, look what I did with the NES Classic, look what I was able to do with it, versus I mean, like you said, you can go download any emulator off any website and throw a ROM into it, and it's working on your computer like nothing. Um, so I just thought it's interesting.
People also, like even people that say that if even for cheaper than the NES Mini, you can buy a Retro Pi, which is like some kind of computer board or something. I don't really understand how that works.
Yeah, they call them
Yeah,
Raspberry Pi.
Pi. I don't know what Retro Pi means, if that's a specific brand of it or model, but people make their own little like box emulators that can like run anything up to,
I
I
just
want to
googled
say
it.
like GameCube.
I just googled it. Retro Pi, which is basically a Raspberry Pi for gaming, and now I'm looking at this, and this thing's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there are different things you can do. Some people actually actually make their own like shells and make their own custom little like Game Boy style emulators.
Yeah, there's a guy at work. He's like in his 60s. He plays around with these Raspberry Pis, and he says that he got them to play a bunch of old Nintendo games. But I'm looking at this Retro Pi thing, and there's even people playing like Game Boy Advance Pokemon
Oh
games,
yeah, like I said,
Sega Genesis.
I'm pretty sure it can handle things all the way up to GameCube.
That's pretty awesome. Over 50 different systems are on the Retro Pi.
Yeah,
Fascinating. All right, I'm gonna look into that
I
when we're
thought
done.
being one of those, but I don't know. It seems like it would take a lot of work. I could just put it on my computer. It's not as cool or portable, but
This is super cheap though. Um,
oh yeah, they're inexpensive.
I think they're like $35 on Amazon.
Most expensive thing, if you were going to make something, would probably be like the other components, like the screen.
Yeah, apparently it's free. You can download the pre-made images for the Raspberry Pi, and that turns your Raspberry Pi into a Retro Pi. Cool. All right, well, I'll look into that more when we're done here. That's cool. Okay, so unfortunately, between the two of us, we only managed to actually get one NES Classic. You got it and sold it to me. So
Well, I didn't really sell it to you. It's not like I made a profit on it.
no, I mean, well, I
You
mean,
gave me back.
yeah, you kind of just like traded it to me for goods and services.
Yeah.
So, um, okay, so that's too bad. I mean, but at least we can share the NES, and it is pretty cool. It works over HDMI. It's not truly like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Not like high res. The graphics are somewhat updated, but it does box them off a bit on the big TV. And I really don't like how the controller is super super short. So you basically have to put the Nintendo or the NES Classic.
They and they've got like extension cords, and I think there's even like a wireless controller. I don't know if that's still easy to find or not, but they have
Interesting. Yeah, because I had to put mine right by me, and
party.
I had to buy like a 20-foot HDMI cable in order to make it work.
I mean, I wanted one for the novelty of it because it's neat. It would be neat to play those games, but I mean, I already have all of those games across my Wii and my Wii U. I mean, maybe not all of them, but at least all the ones that interest me. I mean, I already have the Zelda games and the Mario game, and maybe even yeah, and Metroid as well on my 3DS.
Do you have like Mario 3, 2, all
I
those
do,
games?
I don't have Mario 3 or no, I think I might have 2. I'm not positive, but I don't have 3. I don't think. I mean, at least on my 3DS, but I mean, some of those are available.
Hmm.
I mean, so it's not like I don't have access to these things already. I just kind of wanted it for just collectability's sake.
Well, you can play mine or ours, I guess, when I'm done with it, which could be anytime you want. I
Well,
tried to go
there's
back and
there's still a chance I could get one if they're going to be sending out last shipments.
they are, and the games that I've played, I
Be
think I've
like, it's going to be way probably harder than it has been because now everybody's going to be wanting to get one, especially since it's the last shipment.
well,
And also, people are going to want to get them just so they can put them up on eBay because now the prices are going to skyrocket.
and they already announced that. I guess like even before it was the last shipment, they were impossible to find. And now that it's the last shipment, it's gonna be even harder. But the games that I tried to play, I played probably about half of them. They're really really hard. I'd
Oh yeah, that's
forgotten
how a
how
lot
hard it was.
are. They're really difficult. Games nowadays are definitely a lot easier.
All right, well, that's too bad for the NES Classic, but kind of cool. Another thing I wanted to mention tonight, and then we can maybe jump in into talking a little bit about some of the stuff you're playing. There's a game coming out on Steam tomorrow into early access, which we could probably devote an entire 20-minute podcast into talking about this. It's coming out into early access, which is obnoxious, but it's called Kingdom of Loot. Have you seen that on Steam?
It sounds familiar, but I can't think of what it is, but the name sounds really familiar.
Okay, it's a 16-bit, so it's kind of like pixel artish, but the modern pixel art that tries to
Yeah.
play off like it's old. Um, it's an action RPG MMO in the like 2D pseudo isometric 3D animation that's based on like a mix between The Secret of Mana and Diablo, and it looks really cool. It's full MMO
It,
according to this.
it's isometric.
It's isometric. Yeah, I mean, look it up. Kingdom of Loot. It looks like a somewhat bird's eye view, not really top down, almost 2D. And then when you go into towns, it's like side scroller, and it's all about getting loot. Obviously, I mean, you look at all the screenshots, and they're killing lots of monsters. I mean, think of Diablo, right? You go into Diablo, and you're just killing waves of monsters, gathering tons of loot. But this is MMO, and there's crafting, which the devs admit they're going to be working on. There's no PvP, so you don't have to worry about any of that crap. Um, but it looks neat. Like they call it a ode to the classic 2D action arcade games such as Secret of Mana, Legend of Zelda, etc. Um, you can forge new loot, go on adventures, collect stuff. So this looks like something that we could maybe get together and kind of play MMO style. It's only going to be like $7, and it comes out tomorrow.
It, yeah, it could be fun. It doesn't sound like a deep experience, but
I mean, they may try to make it a deep experience. I just don't know. but it looks like it's got characters like a knight, a fire mage, a gladiator, an archer, a rogue, and a cleric. I don't know if they have more, um, but we should give it a shot. I mean, I'm gonna get it tomorrow just because, like, we can kind of transition, I guess, this to talk about early access just real quick. I hate the concept of early access, and the more it kind of goes on and proliferates, the more I hate it, because it's just as an excuse to release games that that would have done poorly if you had actually released them, and kind of hide behind this excuse of them not being finished and developing them, and it's just a great way to like not deliver on promises. I don't know.
There's been there's been some good early access games. You know, Minecraft was pretty much an early access game, right?
Yeah, and Origins, and there have been a lot of really good early access games.
It's
Probably
just there's no guarantee. And then you've heard there's tons of, horror stories of games that like development pretty much just stops.
right. So in fact, in terms of the games that have affected me, I'd say there's probably been more good early access games than there's been bad ones. But it's like you said, it's just there's no guarantee, which is terrible in a marketplace. But anyway, this game, Kingdom of Loot, is coming out on early access tomorrow. It looks pretty cool. Um, so we had a couple people asking questions about a game you mentioned last episode called Persona 5. They were saying it got like a 97 on IGN and a 94 on Metacritic. And first off, two points. People said Graev will never probably finish it because it's like 150 hours long. How are you
Uh,
doing on finishing it?
oh, I mean, I'm not very far in it at all, but I mean, the hour thing doesn't mean anything. I put in like 99 or more than that hours into Persona 4. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if people have the sense that I don't put hours into games because I do. I don't have a short attention span. I mean,
No.
I do have a I do have a short attention span. I bounce around to a lot of different places, but when I find stuff that I really like, I can put a lot of time into it. Like,
That's what I said.
games I can play for. Well, Monster Hunter games I usually top out. I mean, I'm on the low side. If you look at people who play Monster Hunter games, I usually leave at around 200 to 400 hours, somewhere in there. But there are people, that play that for like thousands of hours. But I mean, yeah, I've played a lot of RPGs. Um, it's usually the JRPGs that can go easily into the triple digits. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I was telling
it,
people.
and if it's one that you really enjoy, then you don't even notice it. I could just, it's weird because some games that you're playing, they just feel like they're so long and they go on forever, and you've only put like, 6 hours into it.
So
But
in terms of Persona 5, what are your thoughts on this one so far?
well, I like it. It's good. Um, I mean, I don't. I mean, there's not really much to say. It's a lot of fun.
How does it stack up to Persona 4? Maybe give some people who tried the other ones a little bit of insight into it, because I have absolutely no idea. I'm just
It
asking questions because people ask me
it's
questions.
pretty much the same thing. It's if you've played Persona 4 or even Persona 3, it's the same kind of game. You do exactly the same kind of stuff. Not that, it's like, feels like you're playing the same game, but it's the same theme of like you you go like walking around in a dungeon area, and then you do like social aspect stuff, and you have to like raise different stats. You've got like different things like charm, knowledge, kindness, and you can do various things when you're not doing like the dungeon stuff. Like, I'm trying to think, like you can get part-time jobs, or you can choose who you hang out with. You have to choose how you invest your time, and doing those things can raise those other stats. And I mean, it's interesting. I haven't really played anything like it.
Hmm,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, there you go. For those people that were asking, that's the Graves answer on Persona 5. Um,
I
any
mean, it might be. I mean, I know they're pretty popular games, but I mean, they might be niche type stuff. A lot of people probably say it's just weeaboo kind of game.
That's kind of how I see it. It's not really my kind of game, but I can see why people
Oh
do
yeah.
like it. Um, interesting. I was just browsing on Shack News, and it was saying how the Switch had the best launch month of any Nintendo game system in history. That's interesting. More than 906,000 units sold. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I just gotta wonder, like, everybody that's buying it, what are they buying it for? Because, like,
Zelda.
I really do like my Switch, but, like, there's not a lot there. Especially, like, if you have, like, I can't imagine, like, if you had kids and you wanted them to play and share, like, what is there?
Well, there's a couple party games. There's like those classic music game. There's a dance game. There's like this. There's like the we call them shovelware games because to you and I it's shovelware. But there's going to be games like I guess great chance to segue into the Nintendo Direct from was it yesterday?
I think it was yesterday. Yeah, Wednesday.
So they showed a couple things. I mean, I didn't find a whole lot of value in it for the Switch. There's a lot more value in it from the Nintendo's 3DS. Um, but like Splatoon looks really kind of cool.
Yeah, and they showed off the new Horde mode.
Yep, that looks really cool. I mean, look, Splatoon looks like a lot more of the same. If you hated the original Splatoon, I bet you'll hate this one. I liked it, and I think this would be actually kind of cool. But they
I like.
showed
Wish that more people could play. More than just
yes.
four. Mainly because I find when we play games, like we represent basically at that point half of our team, and we're not the best.
We're not bad though. We're definitely not
I
as bad as some people.
It's pretty stressful when you have to make up half of your team or even a fourth of your team.
Um, I'm just looking again at some of the things they announced. Anything that stuck out to you from the Nintendo
Well,
Direct? To me, it was kind of
Mar-
flat.
Mario Kart comes out next month.
True. I mean, that looked
That'll be
good.
fun. I mean, I'm not super excited about it, but it'll be fun to play. I'm definitely gonna get it.
Monster Hunter Stories. What's that about?
That's 3DS. That's not coming out until like fall or something. That's on 3DS is getting a lot of good stuff though. Yeah, they're localizing Monster Hunter Stories, some other JRPGs. What's cool is they're doing an RPG Maker game, but what's neat is I think they said that you can get a free download of like the software that lets you play any of the games it's made, and I think it's free.
On the
So
3DS.
yeah, so you can play the little games that people make.
Yeah, it says right here. Hitting 3DS on June 27th, players will be able to craft and design their own games, which they can then upload and share with others. That seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played any of the RPG Maker games. I know that they're popular with a lot of people though, but I don't know. I don't know if I could. That's the kind of thing where I'd start it, and then after like 8 hours, I'd just lose interest. I mean, that's what happens when I tried to make modules in Neverwinter Nights and any other game like that. I guess I'm not really. I don't stick with the creative side.
Well, it quickly becomes obvious why you need a team of people to make a game, because there's so
Yeah,
many things to do.
and not just that though, but like I was always hit with the barrier also in making custom maps like in StarCraft and Warcraft 3 is like they get to like the complex like triggers and stuff and scripting, you know?
Yeah.
That's just I don't know how to do any of that.
No, neither do I. Makes me. I mean, even when you use those game makers, the game makers still have scripts that they require, and then math. And then as soon as it starts to require math, they lose me.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be like that for this
3DS.
the 3DS game.
Yeah.
I doubt it's going to be. I don't know what kind of depth they're going to have because it's not like it's on the computer. I know some of them are. Some of the other ones are on the computer, and I think you could probably make and import different assets. But with this, you're pretty much limited to what's available, I guess.
I actually have one on Steam here. Where is it at? I have RPG Maker. Where'd it go? I don't know. I have like the newest one. I can't find it, but I have like the newest RPG Maker. Somehow it came with I might have got it on a Humble Bundle or something.
Oh yeah, Humble Bundle. There's one recently. Trying to think, what is it?
I can
It's
look it
a
up.
THQ Nordic bundle. It's got a lot of good stuff. You
Really?
should, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
It's
Um, Galactic
PS4,
Civilizations? Is that the? Oh no, there it is.
the
THQ
THQ Nordic one.
PlayStation
It
bundle.
Yeah, it's PlayStation 4 games. It's got, I mean, most of the things I care about. It has what's it called? Darksiders War Master Edition or something, which is like the enhanced version of the original game, and then it's got the definitive edition of Darksiders 2.
That's if you pay 15 or more.
Yeah, and then
War Mastered.
yeah, I don't remember what else is in it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So if you pay $1 or more, it's like Book of Unwritten Tales, Red Faction, Super Dungeon Bros, Deponia, Arcania, and if you pay 12.70 or more, you get Battle Worlds Chronos, Destroy All Humans, Legends of K.
Oh, Destroy All Humans, Legends of K, Destroy All Humans 1 and 2, and the Darksiders game make it all worth it for me for like $15. That's like an easy thing. I don't know if you've ever played Destroy All Humans. It's a lot of fun.
I watched you play
At
it.
least the first one was really good. I don't remember if I played the second one or not. I heard the series though kind of like went to crap.
I'm
So
trying.
nice if they revived it.
I'm trying to decide if Darksiders is a
It's
game I'd
more.
like.
It's like Zelda style game.
Really?
It's weird because I don't remember how the second one played that
Hmm.
much, but the first one, yeah, it's very similar to like a Zelda style game. They're really good. You should definitely get them for $15. I mean, I'd pay $15 for just one of those. I mean,
Interesting.
maybe because I already have them, but yeah.
Well, this isn't good because this just means that our backlogs are going to grow now.
Oh yeah, but I mean, yeah, eventually there's gonna be a lull.
Yeah,
So
gaming lull. There's technically a gaming lull right now. We can kind of wrap up the episode just touching on that briefly. The fact that like I feel like I've been in this like weird gaming funk lately, and
you finish Zelda?
still working through it. I play a couple hours a week. I'm super casual with it, but just in general, I wrote on the blog today how like I've been in this weird funk between like focusing on real life and then wanting to play games but not really having an MMO to play. And you know how I go on MMOs. I feel like I always need to play one, but then I play one and I quit. Um,
The genre's kind of dead.
it is. It's completely dead. Like the MMO genre is gone. But I'm really enjoying single player games, but every time I sit down, I just lack the motivation to just start a game. And you know how that goes. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll have an episode on this. We'll touch on it later. But like you've bought games that you really, really, really want, and then you don't play them, and like 5 years pass, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that game I bought that I wanted to play. So, um,
Yeah, I have a surprising number of those.
and we can actually probably do an entire episode soon on our backlogs and the games that we want to play. But suffice it to say, this is going to grow my backlog, which isn't a bad thing. We're going to have a lull. We're kind of in one right now, sort of, kind of, not really-ish. I mean, Switch has kind of fixed that. I still have to finish Zelda. I guess let's wrap up this episode.
What's coming out soon? I can't really think of it off the top of my head.
Well, let's wrap up the episode by talking about the games we're looking forward to in the very near future. I mean, we've got tomorrow. I'm going to check out Kingdom of Loot, and I'll write about that on the blog. I'll let you know if it's worth getting and playing with me. What are you playing? Like we're gonna play Mario Kart next month. I just on Amazon overnighted Lego.
Mario month, or is it the end of this month?
End of this month.
Is it, or is it next month?
I think you're right. I think it's the end of
Something
April.
comes out at the end of this month. Maybe two things. I don't remember. I mean, I have like a list of like a release day list that I always check, and I know that there's something at the end of this month, and then there's some stuff next month.
No,
I just can't remember off the top of my head.
I can't either. But it's this month. Mario Kart's this month, so we'll play that together. Anything else you're looking forward to playing, or are you just gonna finish up what you've got until these games come out?
I mean, I'm just finishing up what I got right now. I can't really think of anything I'm specifically, waiting for.
All right, then. We will, I guess we'll wrap up this episode. We ended 4 minutes sooner than last one, so the QuickCast is getting quicker. But we appreciate you listening to us, guys. Just Graev and I rambling about games and just talking about commentary in general. So don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, do whatever it is you do on the platform of listening of your choice. We're also available on YouTube. I turn each one of these episodes into a little video as well. So again, we appreciate you watching, and we will catch you for the next QuickCast.